हाँ, डिस्प्ले सेंटर में लाओ। अरे इसमें डिस्प्ले सेंटर में आना चाहिए। फिर आंसर। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन। इधर क्यों है? इधर आना चाहिए ना। हैं? Bring मत वहां से कहीं का हट। इसको कुछ नहीं करना था। ये अकेला आना चाहिए ना ऐसे इसको। हाँ, who did this? Okay, but Yashoda Krishna are not visible clearly. Yashoda's face is not visible.
बेटर
कुछ पता ही नहीं चल रहा है। नहीं, face is not visible.
क्लियर नहीं है, क्लियर नहीं है, थोड़ा हल्दी सा लग रहा है।
नहीं हुआ। ओके, हाँ अब सही है। और थोड़ा शिफ्ट करो इस तरफ। कृष्णा ऑल्सो वुड लुक नाइस। हाँ, ओके ओके, सो लेट अस स्टार्ट आवर कीर्तन। नमामि स्वरं सच्चिदानंद रूपम लसत्कुंडलं गोकुले व्रजमाणम्। यशोदाभिरालोकलाधवमणम् परामृष्टम् अत्यन्ततो धृत्यो गोप्या। रुदन्तमोहर्नेत्रा युग्मं रुजन्तम् पराम्बुजायुग्मेन सातङ्कनेत्रम्। मोहो स्वसाकं पात्रे रेखाङ्ककण्ठा सीताग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिवदम्। इति दृक्सलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे सोऽघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम्। आदेयस्य ताज्ञेषु भक्तैर्जितात्वम् पुनः प्रेमातास्तं सतावृत्ति वन्दे। Varam deva moksham va mokshavadhim va nachanyam brune aham vare sadapiha. Idam tava purnatha gopalavalam sada me manasya virastam kimanai. Idam te mukham vojam atyanta nilay Vratam kuntalai snigdha raktaisa gopya. Mohostambetam bimba raktadaram me Anasya virastam alam lakya lavai. Namo deva damodara ananta vishnu Prasida prabho dukha jala bhimagram. Rupa drishti vrishtyate dinam vadano Yohane samamagyam adhyaki drusha. Kuberatma jauvada murtaiva yadvat Oya mochitau bhakti bhajau krutau cha. Tatha prema bhaktim sakam me prayacha Namakshe graha me stida modareha. Namaste damne spuraditi damne Odiyo daraya tha vishwasya damne. Namo radhikaya todiya priyayai Namo ananta lilaya devaya tubhyam. Namami swaram satchidananda rupam Lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam. Rasadaviyalukaladhabamanam Paramrustam atyantato drusya gopya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe. Sri Sri Radha Damodar ki, Sri Kartik month ki, Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari. Can someone show the translation? So maybe I don't know this. People are not efficient. They are not. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose sack-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who's beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokul, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from the swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding motor in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Why they're not changing? Abhishek Bansal, who is changing this? Saying a lot of mismanagement happening. What is happening? Okay, I think others, if you have the song with you, the meaning, please read. Pavan, can you read?
Yes, sir.
Read from the book. Let everybody read it from the book. There is some technical problem there in this play. Please read.
Yes, sir.
Next, Abhishek Panchal should read. Then Anmol Avasti. Then Agnimitra. then Archit Gupta, then Brahmamaya Krishna Das.
मेरे पास हिंदी में है प्रभु जी।
आप हिंदी में पढ़ सकते हो, कोई इशू नहीं।
सेकेंड है, हरे कृष्णा। अपनी माता के हाथ में छड़ी देखकर वो रो रहे हैं और अपने कमल जैसे कोमल हाथों से दोनों नेत्रों को मसल रहे हैं। उनकी आंखें भय से भरी हुई हैं और उनके गले का मोतियों का हार, जो शंख की भांति त्रिरेखा से युक्त हैं, रोते हुए जल्दी जल्दी श्वास लेने के कारण इधर उधर हिल डुल रहा है। ऐसे उन श्री भगवान को, जो रस्सी से नहीं बल्कि अपने माता के प्रेम से बंधे हुए हैं, मैं नमन करता हूँ। हरे कृष्ण।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हाँ पवन, जल्दी पढ़ो।
Yes, sir. So, those super excellent pastimes of Lord
No, no.
Krishna.
Third.
Yes. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy, free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara, hundreds and
Thank you. Next.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Pada Gopada in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by the locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. Hare Krishna.
Next.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. Hare Krishna.
Next.
Red is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons.
पढ़ो अनमोल.
O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuber, Manigriva and Nalkuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narad and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. The same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of.
Next.
O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisance to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Shri Radha Damodar ki.
Jai.
Kathamrutam tapta jeevanam kavividitam kalmasapaham Savanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi grunante Bhurida jana Nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations transmitted by learned sages eradicate one's sinful reaction and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Krishna are most munificent. These are sung, or these are the prayer by gopis. These prayers, this is a prayer by gopis, and they are addressing Krishna. So dear devotees, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, Deliverance of Mallarjuna Tree. So, how Narad is arguing within himself that how a rich fellow who doesn't have any education, illiterate, he violates all four regulative principles. He is into meat eating, he is into illicit sex, he is into gambling, he is into intoxication. And he is ready to go to hell. Whereas he is saying those who are poverty stricken, they naturally go through austerity and penances because they don't have any wealth to do sense gratification. It becomes very difficult for them even to maintain a piece of bread and butter every meal. And just to survive, they don't have their personal prestige. They cannot say anything by which they can boast themselves because they have nothing. And because they are constantly struggling for food and shelter, they are simply satisfied whatever they obtain by the arrangement of the providence. And this is good because normally nobody does such austerity voluntarily. Everybody is looking for sense gratification. If little money comes to your pocket, I have a friend in Ranchi, he used to tell, in Jharkhand, if someone, they get little money comes to the pocket means immediately they think of wine and woman. This is so unfortunate. And so by becoming poverty stricken, Krishna is showering special mercy upon them so that they get naturally purified, even if they have no motivation to get liberated. And let us continue from 16th verse, where Narad is saying, always hungry, longing for sufficient food, a poverty-stricken man gradually becomes weaker and weaker. having no extra potency, his senses are automatically pacified. A poverty-stricken man, therefore, is unable to perform harmful, envious activities. In other words, such a man automatically gains the results of austerities and penances adopted voluntarily by a saintly person. So, to be burned as impoverished is good. In many ways, that should be considered as a mercy of Krishna. Because if such a person takes up Krishna consciousness, he would progress very fast. When I went to Doha, in Doha, there are many pockets and there are devotees. They organize small centers in different pockets. So one specific devotee with whom I met, he is in charge of a pocket where mostly Bangladeshi and very poor, South India, this Indian subcontinent people live, mostly Bangladeshis. And they are normally very, very poor, but whatever, and they have become devotee. And whatever by hard labor they earn, almost literally everything they save, they send to Bangladesh for organizing Grand Rath Yatra in Dhaka. And he was telling these devotees, when they sing, it is so melodious, so heart-touching. They have so much of feeling for Krishna because naturally they are very austere. And when you are so austere, you are already purified enough. And then when you accept Krishna consciousness in that status, you just, it catches fire. And it is true. We know some of the best examples of nice devotees. One is Narada, as a maid servant, son of a maid servant, how he became such a very steady devotee. And we know Sudama. We have many examples. I have told you about Gita Panda, Bandhu Mahanti. These are all Odia devotees. Very poor, very poor. But they have full faith in Krishna. And so sometimes poverty, not sometimes, most of the time, poverty is the best thing. Because why? Narada is contemplating like that, because my personal experience now is, after preaching in IIT Kanpur, because I see when people, they have nice job, nice wealth, nice salary and everything nice, they hardly think of Krishna. Or Krishna consciousness at best can become a process of sense gratification. That is it. And when Harikesh Prabhu invited me to Singapore, in Singapore center, those Bengali devotees who work there as laborers, daily wagers, when they come and sing, Iva Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Aroti Kosobha. You can see the spontaneity with which this song would come out, spontaneity with which their legs and hands would swing. It is amazing because they have no burden, they have no responsibility. they are satisfied with the life, what they have got, and moreover with Krishna consciousness, they have become fully satisfied. So Narad is saying the best medicine for these two people, because they are the son of Kuvera, so rich, so wealthy, and illiterate, the best punishment for them is to make them poverty stricken. Narad is saying, saintly persons may freely associate with those who are poverty stricken, but not with those who are rich. A poverty stricken man, by association with saintly persons, very soon becomes uninterested in material activities, and material desires, and the dirty things within the core of his heart are cleansed away. When you have wealth, you would like to go, instead of eating nice, simple prasadam, you would say, oh, let me go to Govinda and eat. If Govinda food is not there, prasadam is not there, then you will say, let's go to Pandit and enjoy. So the tongue is talking about nice food stuff, right? And so this is what it is. And dirty things would come, because if you have wealth, then you have iPhone in your hand. The moment you start surfing, maybe 1 or 2 purports of Prabhupada books you will read, and after that you are not so elevated soul that you will continue to read. What you will do is actually you will surf things that are undesirable. Saintly persons think of Krishna 24 hours a day. They have no other interest. Why should people neglect the association of such exalted spiritual personalities and try to associate with materialists taking shelter of non-devotees, most of whom are proud and rich? Prabhupada, today I was hearing early morning his lecture after chanting during the Abhishekam. So he was talking about the Ajamila story. And he was telling, because Ajamila was a neophyte, and when he saw Sudra and Sudrani embracing in public, he got trapped by the lusty desires. So Prabhupada was telling that first-class men and women, they must be trained the ideal way of life. Prabhupada was saying, no Brahminical man and woman will ever embrace each other in the public. But nowadays it is a fashion in public to kiss each other, to embrace each other. And that really ignites so much of bad thing. Nowadays, if you say, for example, Bollywood, for example, is the prime example of inciting lust in young boys and in girls. Not only Bollywood or Tollywood or Hollywood or Hollywood, I don't know, Collywood, whatever, all wood. They're all nonsense. They're all nonsense. And not only that, all advertisement in the once Krishnan sir sent me to get a, I think, electric heater or something, electric heating element, something, and I brought it. I purchased it, and I brought and handed over to him. And I didn't notice what was there. And immediately Krishnan sir said that, see, this is an electrical thing, but in the top of that, there is a picture of a woman, So he was telling this electric thing, what it does had to do with a woman. But just to sell this, they are trying to sell a woman's body. And this is the mindset of people. We don't expose this idiot mindsets of lusty men or those who want to exploit people with the consumerism product. So anyway, so the idea here is that Prabhupada was very categorically, very, very um, mm, strong. He was very, very, he roars when he says, standards must be followed. Prabhupada said men and women should never mix. There should not be any free mixing. Young boys and girls, they must get married, such that this nonsense must, this public display of the lust must end. So many, I remember in once in German Yatra, Prabhupada once was walking with all the devotees, and Prithu Prabhu was also there in that Yatra. And so I think in some park places, near a bush, a young boy and girl, they are engaging in sex. And devotees suddenly heard, sometime, under the bush, some dog center or jackal center, it will create some noise. So they were wondering, the sound is coming, and what is this, some dog is there or that. And they wondered, and then suddenly they were chuckled. And then they got frightened because some illicit things are happening. And they were looking at Prabhupada. If Prabhupada took a notice, and they were feeling embarrassed. And anyway, Prabhupada, he walks very fast. And devotees who were a little swayed by this visuals, they felt very embarrassed, and finally they caught up with Prabhupada. These things, that is why I say Western countries are absolutely hell. And so also metros have become very hellish place. So this, but anyway, when people have wealth and they are not spiritually educated, they would engage themselves in activities that will glide them to hell. So people aspire for wealth, right? Ansul Agarwal. So you aspire for wealth? None of us, we should aspire for the wealth. We should only aspire for bhakti. So, therefore, since these two persons drunk with the liquor named Varuni or Madhvi and unable to control their senses, have been blinded by the pride of celestial opulence, have become attached to women, I shall relieve them from their false prestige. So, Naradji was very kind to these two people. If some saintly person comes to me and tells, these are your anarthas, I'm going to eradicate that anartha, I will simply fall at his lotus feet, take the dust of his lotus feet, smear all over the body, and please punish me wherever you want, but remove all the anarthas. That is the best that can happen to us. So Narad is saying, these two young men, Nalkuvera and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of the great demigod Kuvera. But because of false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked but cannot understand that they are. Recently, Pavan was telling me, sir, I tried to convince him, one of his friends, that you are in a wrong path. But that fellow is not even able to understand that he is in wrong path. So when, I remember, for example, when we started studying and started doing well, and then pride caught up with us. And sometimes if you are criticized, you used to feel very, very bad about it. Who is he to criticize us? Okay. But now time has, grilled us so much. Even those small, false egos, we feel ashamed of. And I'm sometimes when I remember, I see, oh, how arrogant I was. Jai Sri Sri Lakshmi Narsingh Dev Bhagwan ki jai, Srila Giriraj Krishna ki jai, Sri Radha Raman Ji ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Damodar ki jai, Yashoda Krishna ki jai. So when we are fallen, we cannot understand we are fallen because of arrogance, because of pride, because of ignorance. Okay? And therefore, because they are living like trees, for trees are naked but are not conscious. Right? When I'm proud but I'm not conscious that I'm proud. I'm offensive but I'm not conscious that I'm offensive. These two young men should receive the bodies of the trees. This will be proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they're released, by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiry of 100 years, by the measurement of the demigods, they will be able to see Krishna, Vasudeva, face to face, and thus revive their real position as devotee. 100 celestial years. Of course, in a tree's body, you can live like that. But that day when I was reading this thing, when I was actually, I think, I was traveling in the plane somewhere, I was reading. So I could feel that this Yamalarjuna tree, externally this is tree, but internally these two souls, Manigriva and Nalkuvera, they are in that particular tree, but completely self-effulgent. And they are releasing the beautiful pastimes of Krishna every day in the Angan of Nanda and Yashoda. So 100 years, you see, 36,000 years. 36,000 years, they became trees. But this 36,000 years is nothing, because we have taken birth trillions of lifetimes. So many Brahma's lifetime. This is better way to say. Trillions of Brahma's lifetime, we are already here. And one Brahma's lifetime is 311 trillion, 40 billion years. So 3,600 years, 36,000 years is how much? How much? Answer. Nothing. So it's a great celebration. And thus revive their real position as devotees. What a great saintly person, Naradji. He can liberate Mrugari without cursing him. Without cursing Mrugari, he could liberate him. Do you understand this? Mrugari, without cursing him, he liberated him. Right? But Nalkuvera and Manigriva, they are two sons of Kubera, but he has to curse them to liberate them. Oh Krishna, please save me, please save me. Sukadeva Goswami continued, having thus spoken, the great saint Devarsi Narada returned to his ashram, known as Narayana Ashram, and Nalkuvera and Manigriva became twin Arjuna tree. So, my dear friends, this is amazing. Eh? The Supreme Personality Godhead Sri Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of words of the greatest devotee, Narada slowly went to the spot where the twin Arjuna trees were standing. Although these two young men are the sons of very rich Kuvera, and I have nothing to do with them, Devasi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee. Therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. Krishna is a small baby boy. He's a small baby boy. Yes, he's a small baby boy. He is bound. And he's bound by Mother Yasoda against the Ulukula. Inverted grinding wooden motor. And he's remembering something that happened 36,000 years ago. Narada cursed. And seeing those trees, he's recognizing who are they. Actually, if Krishna has to come here, you ask him, this tree, who was he? I see some of all these, these trees, you are engaging them in decoration of Radha Damodar. They are certainly very highly elevated souls. They are engaged. They are engaged. They are engaged in devotional service. They are engaged in devotional service. We had one tree that died. You understand that because of that idiot. What is that fellow? Ramnath. You know, a nice tree. He cut all the branches. Itna stupid idiot hai. But anyway, that tree did a lot of service because for many, many years, we kept Sri Yasoda Krishna under that tree. We kept that. And I purchased that tree, 4,000 rupees. And almost five years ago or 6 years ago, I purchased that tree for 5,000. It was nice, you know. So see how and when someone will be engaged in the Krishna service by the initiative of a devotee is amazing. Just like Prabhupada engaged the entire world in the service of Krishna. So Krishna is telling, Krishna saw these two trees. It's not that he was not seeing those trees. But Krishna, just like now, I may see so many things, but I become conscious wherever my interest is. Right? So similarly, Krishna's interest was not that tree. But today he was bound, he has nothing to do. And suddenly his interest dealt in those trees. So similarly, when Krishna's interest will come on me, so that I'll be delivered. But actually Krishna has delivered me. The day I met Krishna, sir, Krishna delivered me. There is no question about it. So, Krishna is thinking, now I must deliver these two kids of Kubera because Narada has promised. Having thus spoken, Krishna soon entered between the two Arjuna trees, that the big motor to which he was bound turned crosswise and stuck between them. He dragged behind him with great force the wooden motor tied to his belly. The boy Krishna uprooted the two trees. By the great strength of Supreme Person, the two trees with their trunks, leaves, and branches trembled severely and fell to the ground with a great crash. So as Krishna dragged, small baby dragged, and 36,000-year-old trees fell down. if you go to Badrinath along the river Ganga that's flowing, there are many, many old trees. And you know what are those old trees? They are saints. They are saints in the form of the trees. They are simply chanting. Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. They're also singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So they are singing. They don't want to be disturbed by this external world. They don't want to be disturbed. So in the form of trees, for thousands of years, they're just sitting like that in the form of trees and chanting Krishna's name in the lap of Mother Ganga. Thereafter, in that very place where the two Arjuna trees had fallen, two great perfect personalities who appeared like fire personified, came out of the two trees. The effulgence of their beauty illuminated all directions. With bowed heads, they offered obeisances to Krishna, and with hands folded, they spoke the following words. O Lord Krishna, Krishna Krishna Mahayogim, Tomadya Purusha Para, Vyakta Vyaktam Vidam Vishwam, Rupam Te Brahmana Vido, Tomeka Sarva Bhutanam, Dehasu Atmendriyaswara, Tomeva Kala Bhagavan, Vishnu Rabbeya Ishvara, Tvam Mahan Prakriti Sukma, Raja Sattva Tamomayi, Tvameva Purushodhaksho, Sarva Shatra Vikaravid. How? They're trees. They're trees. But they're composing nice prayer to Krishna. Oh Krishna, Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. Because they were trees, and suddenly they are now beautiful, effulgent personality. You are the supreme, original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote. You are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas know that you are everything, that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspect is your form. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, the controller of everything. The body, life, ego, and senses of every living entity are your own self. You are Krishna, the imperishable controller. You are the time factor, the immediate cause. You are material nature, consisting of three modes of passion, goodness, and ignorance. You are the original cause of this material manifestation. You are the super soul. Therefore, you know everything within the core of heart of every living entity. Oh Lord, you exist before the creation. Therefore, who trapped by a body of material quality in this material world can understand you? Who can understand you? Because we are all trapped by three modes of material nature. Tasmai tubhyam bhagavate vasudevaya vedase atma dyota gunaishchanna mahimne brahmane namaha. Oh Lord, whose glories are covered by your own energy. You are the supreme personality of Godhead. You are Sankarsana, the origin of creation. You are Vasudeva, the origin of Chaturvyuha. Because you are everything and are therefore Supreme Brahman, you simply offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Yasyavatar jnayante sariresu asarirna tair atulyati sair viryair dehisu asangatai sa bhavan sarva lokasya bhavaya vivavaya cha avatirnam sabhagena sampratam pratirasisam. Appearing in bodies like those of an ordinary fish, tortoise, and hog, we exhibit activities impossible for such creatures to perform, extraordinary, incomparable, transcendental activities of unlimited power and strength. These bodies of yours, therefore, are not made up of material elements, but are incarnation of your Supreme Personality. You are the same personality Godhead who have now appeared with full potency for the benefit of all living entities within this material world. O supremely auspicious, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you who are the supreme good. O most famous descendant of controller of Yadu dynasty, O son of Vasudeva, O most peaceful, let us offer our obeisance unto your lotus feet. Namaha Parama Kalyana, Namaha Parama Mangala, Vasudevaya Santaya, Yudunam Pataye Namaha. Anujani Hina Om Bhumas, Toptavanu Chara Kinkaro, Darsanam Nau Bhagavata, Risher Asidanugrahat. O Supreme Form, we are always servant of your servants, especially of Narad Muni. Now give us permission to leave for our home. It is by the grace and mercy of Narad Muni that we have been able to see you face to face. Hare Krishna. Henceforward, may all our words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in oral reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. May our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different form. May our eyes see the form of your Vaishnavas who are not different from you. Hare Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami continued. The two young demigods thus offered prayers to Krishna. Although Sri Krishna is the master of all, was certainly Gokuleshwar, the master of Gokula. He was bound to the wooden mortar by the ropes of the gopis, and therefore, smiling widely, he spoke to the sons of Kuvera the following words. This is really very amazing. So Krishna is still bound. He's still bound to the wooden grinding mortar. But Manigriva and Nalkuvera, they are liberated. This is amazing. Krishna said, the great Saint Narada Muni is very merciful. By his curse, see, he showed the greatest favor to both of you, who were made after material opulence and who had thus become blind. Although you fell from the higher planet Swargaloka and became trees, you were most favored by him and knew all of these incidents from the very beginning. So Krishna acknowledged whatever you are saying is right. When one is faced, and you see the 36,000 years, and they have not forgotten Naradji. Nobody should forget the teacher. When one is face to face with the sun, there is no longer darkness for one's eyes. Similarly, when one is face to face with a sadhu, a devotee, who is fully determined and surrendered to Krishna, one will no longer be subject to material bondage. O Nalkuvera and Manigriva, now you may both return home. Since you desire to be always observed in my devotional service, your desire to develop love and affection for me will be fulfilled. Now you will never fall from that platform. Sukadeva Goswami said, Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna, having spoken to the two demigods. In this way, they circumambulated the Lord, who was bound to the wooden mortar, offered obeisances to him, and after taking the permission of Lord Krishna, they returned to their respective homes. So that small baby, for ordinary people, ignorant fools, is a small baby of Mother Yashoda, helplessly bound to a wooden grinding mortar. But Manigriva and Nalkuvera, they are telling, he is not a small baby. He is the original personality. He is the original Sankarsana. He is the original Vishnu. He is the cause of all causes. He is the time potency. He is the three modes. He is everything. He is super soul. So, dear devotees, I hope you enjoyed this description of deliverance of Emalarjuna tree. And if you remember this throughout the night, even in your dream, you'll go back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarvesya kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavibhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Any question? Time for question. Today is a very wonderful day, day of Ekadasi. So please remember Krishna as much as you want. There is no question, it seems. Is there a question? What up? Read loudly. And tell the name. Acha, bolo, Ansu last. Relation. Relation. Okay. So Krishna, Balaram. Krishna is Bhagavan and Balaram is Sevaka Bhagavan. He always serves Krishna. Similarly, Rama is Bhagavan and Lakshman is Sevaka Bhagavan. That's it. Follow? And you have to recognize Lakshman in some Lila, he was telling that people say Rama and Lakshman. Okay, they are all Vishnu Tattvas. But then Lakshman is telling, no, we are not saying. Lakshman is saying, you are the master. And so Lakshman is telling that you are the master always. I am the servant always. Follows. Similarly, although Balaram is the source of all expansion of Krishna, but all expansions of Krishna, they emanate through Balaram. The first expansion Balaram, and from Balaram all other expansions they come. But for Balaram, Krishna is always master and Balaram is always servant. Next. Bolo.
How Krishna consciousness becomes source of self-gratification for wealthy people.
For wealthy people, because for them going to the temple once on Ekadasi or something like that, and putting some money in the donation box. Okay, for them, and sometime maybe they will call the devotees and organize a kirtan program. Okay, but then they are into mostly they're into their sense gratification. So that is what I am telling. That doesn't mean that we have very rich people like Ambarisha Maharaja. So what Ambarisha Maharaja did, used everything at his disposal in the service to Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj, richest person, but used everything in Krishna's service. In general, when you have wealth and you understand how Krishna is nice, but then you have wealth, so you tend to use your wealth in sense gratification. That is why it is said, if you have wealth, give it to the pure devotee of Krishna who can spend it in Krishna's service.
My question, sir, if poverty is conducive to Krishna consciousness, then
If poverty is conducive to Krishna consciousness, then why Krishna says that fallen yogi takes birth in very aristocratic family or devotee? Arey, isko to abhi, you know that verse Prabhu's Prabhu read, no? Prabhu's Prabhu read this. That purport you read, 1.5.19. 1.5.19 or 17, right? So you go through that verse, you will see that Prabhupada is saying that when Krishna makes you very poverty-stricken, that is better because you take complete dependence on Krishna. Whereas if you are born in a royal family or, there is a chance that you may again be trapped by Maya. So that is not a good thing. You please go and read that purport again and again. Next.
Sir, how can we be able
Watch it. What is Chaturvyah? No. Dhira Singla. Acha. And Dhira Singla hai there. Why Drona rejected to teach Karna? Even Drona was knower of Vedas. Drona rejected to teach Karna. Even Drona was. I see every culture has certain tradition, and he probably followed that tradition, saying only Kshatriyas have the qualification to learn the martial arts. And you know that Karna was the son of a charioteer, Radheya. So, and based on that, he was not given. But anyhow, this has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Chalo. Sir, does Naradji already knew that what time Krishna will appear on earth? Yes. Is Trikalagya. Sir, in introduction to Bhagavad Gita, names of 30 acharyas are mentioned. If you consider every acharya teach for 100 years, then only 3,000 years are covered. But Narada appeared. Oh, it is not like that. You see, after Brahma, Narada and Narada Vyasadeva, and you see 1,000 years ago, Madhvacharya. 1,000 years ago, Madhvacharya, he went to Himalaya in Badrinath. And because he is an incarnation of Vayu, Pavan, or Hanuman, I have forgotten. He met Vyasadeva in Badrinath and took initiation from Vyasadeva. And that is how this you have 30 generations. This is only 1,000 year old because Madhvacharya got initiated by Vasudev, only 1,000-year-old. So you may ask, Vasudev still there? Yes, Vasudev is still there. If you are qualified, when you go to Badrinath, you will surely meet him. Narada every 6 months is there in Badrinath, worshipping Badri Vishal. Okay. Vivek Anmal Avasti, Kailas hill, even after being abode of Lord Shiva, the state of inability are exhibited. How to understand this? Requesting to humbly to clarify. You see that what is that? Manasarovar, right? Kailas Manasarovar, which is there in Tibet. So anybody can go there. Even a rascal can go there. Similarly, Kailasa has many manifestations. One manifestation, this Himalaya thing and Kailas Mansarovar. There will be manifestation in different demigod planets as well. And this looks like within this material world, and anybody, so Kubera, it is not beyond this material world, within this material world, and those who get special privilege, they can enter there. So, and because this is situated within this material world, and obviously people would misuse there. So you are saying, your question may be, if Lord Shiva is not able to maintain the sanctity, it's not a question of that. The Lord Shiva is not able to maintain the sanctity of his own abode. No, Lord Shiva is always pure. Just like Lord Krishna is always pure. But then this material world is there for allowing those idiots to do nonsense here. But he's there in every atom. Similarly, Lord Shiva is there, and those who are interested in his preaching, they hear him. But those who are not, they can do nonsense. So that is why Avramo Bhuvanaloka Punaravartino Arjuna. Even going to Brahmaloka also, you will come back here. But sometime you will be trapped by Maya. Maya is everywhere. Maya's expansion is there over Kailas also. Next. Do our habit affect spiritual devotion? Yes, we should have positive habit. If you have bad habit, it will be very difficult. Did you hear yesterday's lecture I gave? Developing spiritual and natural talent through holistic lifestyle. So we should have a holistic lifestyle. Our eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, they must be purified, sanctified. Next. The purport of Naradji's word that the section of society is most austere, impoverished section is the most austere, pious, austerity is real. We read today. You see that when I cannot voluntarily perform austerity, but I'm desiring, but my wealth, my present situation is not allowing me to perform austerity so that I can practice Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna very kindly will put you in the next life in a very poverty-stricken place, but he will give sufficient opportunity to you to practice Krishna consciousness. Just read about Krishnadas Kaviraj Krishnadas Babaji. Krishnadas Babaji was born in a fisherman's family, but from the very childhood he was only chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he was chanting incessantly that he was not interested in this world. He had a Bal Gopal deity and he would sometimes slap him. Why you are not eating? I'm feeding you, you are not eating. And the pure Acharya like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur noticed and said he's a pure devotee. And whenever he will come for a tirtha, either to Mayapur or Jagannath Puri, he will send his own disciples and set of disciples to serve him, to give him personal attention. Next. Subhendu, why demigods like Manigriva and Nalkuvera went to demigods planet after liberation instead of Vaikuntha? To preach the glories of Krishna. That's what they said. No? When you have nice realization of Krishna consciousness, what you do? You go out and preach. A devotee is not really interested to go back to Godhead in the sense that I have to go. No. A devotee is already liberated. He is already in Vaikuntha. So in that sense, Manigriva and Nalkuvera, they were in Vaikuntha. Wherever they are preaching Krishna consciousness, that is Vaikuntha, Vrindavan. And they have seen so much of Lila of Krishna, and they have so much to speak to everyone. And they must be narrating even now to so many people, this is what happened, so many people must be asking, what happened? This 36,000 years, can you give us experience? What happened 36,000 years? How long you remain in ignorance, and when you suddenly became aware that you are conscious, and suddenly when you started seeing Krishna, and what Krishna used to do, how he used to roam. So many people must be asking him this question. You want to hear about Krishna from Manigriva and Nalkuvera? Now you have opportunity. You can go to those planets and see here. Next. Amrit Manda. It is said that before one goes to hear about working internal energy, one first know the working of external energy. Krishna, please explain. It is not like that. What you are saying. It is one must take shelter of internal energy, and one must know the devouring potency of external energy, such that you don't get deluded by material energy or external energy. So you must have, same thing. Now this Prabhupada told, some disciple asked Prabhupada how, what is that question he said? How you don't fall down. So Prabhupada said, I don't fall down because I'm always afraid of Maya. I'm extremely afraid of Maya, and I constantly pray that please, I always pray to Krishna, please protect me from Maya. So that is all you have to know about the Maya or external energy of Krishna. Every aspect of the Krishna's energy, how they are bewildering, deluding. Okay, so we should stop here. Thank you so much. 8:30 today. I was sorry, dragged, but anyway, for last 2 days, I was, I was very miser in terms of taking the class because there are certain other engagement. Yesterday, I was speaking at 8 o'clock to all the Nalco executives. Their general manager, ADM, what is that? AGM, GM, DGM. So there are around 40 big sorts of Nalco. And they were hearing, and they were all, and for 2 hours they heard the head of Nalco. He was personally there. I think Ambika Panda or somebody, I forgot the name. He was there for 2 hours himself, and everybody was there. So people, if you speak about Krishna consciousness nicely, people would hear. People would hear. People would hear. So thank you. Thank you very much again. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Radha Damodar ki jai. Manigriva Nalkuvera ki jai. Narad Muni ki jai. Gaur Pramanande Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.